Mal, como si algo estuviera bien embelesado, ¿ves? No, en los coches, en alguno. Me suena como si no estuviera, como si algo no estuviera bien, estuviera alguna pieza un poco suelta. Como el de la máquina vapor que hemos visto antes.
Vamos con el Campeonato de España de Turismo. Tercer clasificado, Miguel Villacieros. Segunda plaza para Félix Aparicio. Y el vencedor, Iván Velasco. Equipo vencedor, VSR.
¡Javi!
El vencedor junior corresponde a Félix Aparicio. Ahí están, levantando los trofeos, los 4 premiados en esta categoría del Campeonato de España de Turismos. 14 milésimas separado al segundo y tercero. Con una sanción. Vamos por el último podio de la categoría del Campeonato de España de Turismos.
And hello and welcome to the final race of this weekend's Spanish Formula 4 Championship round at the Ricardo Tormo circuit here in Valencia. It has been a thrilling weekend so far. 2 different winners. We've had Sebastian Ogier win race 1 yesterday, the 25-minute race. And earlier on today, we had a race victory for Daniel Van Toff. And you can see the grid on screen there, slightly different. Van Toff on pole from Jenique, Ogier, Marti, then Espirito Santo and Zanfari starting from 6th. There's the first 3 rows. Plenty of times deleted from qualifying this morning due to track limits, as we see Dengbal, Arkin Chelsky starting 8th, then Alejandro Garcia, then George Kelstrup from 10th, Oliver Mitchell 11th, Rick Cohn 12th. Which is probably why you'll be seeing a lot of drivers somewhat out of position from where they would normally be in qualifying. As we continue, 13th, Gil Molina, then Bordas 14th, Ryabov starts 15th, Pinkasov 16th, Campos 17th, Partashev is 18th. And of course there was even further penalties applied after qualifying finish this morning. So Brandon Lee Oxley starts 19th, Abramczyk is 20th. Anshul Gandhi qualified to 24th, he goes to 21st. And there's Gilles Oliveira set no time whatsoever. His times were completely deleted following qualifying today. So we do have a slightly mixed up grid. The temperature is warm. It's not as warm as it was yesterday. Air 26 degrees Celsius, track is 34 degrees Celsius. So not as punishing as it was for race 1 yesterday evening. As we look now at the track map of this fantastic circuit, probably best known really for motorbike racing, the Ricardo Tormo circuit. Not much in the way of straights around the circuit. The longest straight, and the only real straight, I must be fair, is probably from the exit of the final corner down all the way into turn 1. However, this being a very tight and twisty circuit, it does punish drivers who overwork their tyres. And I believe that's something we saw earlier on today. Sebastian Ogier was leading race 2 for quite a bit of time, began to make mistakes, began to lose a little bit of grip, and Daniel Van Toff took advantage. Now, in the melee, Daniel Matzia and Vladislav Ryabov also attempted to get past and take the lead. Mattia did take the lead from Van Toff and did actually cross the line first to win the race, but he received a penalty for track limit violations, which dropped him down to second in the classification. So Van Toff took the race win, even though he finished second on the road. Vladislav Ryabov did come home third. He also received a track limits penalty. That dropped him down to sixth in the order, with promoting Rick Cohn to third position. Sebastian Ogaard, as I said, had led most of the race, dropped down to fifth after everything was done and dusted. He became fourth with Ryabov's penalty, and Enric Bordas, who crossed the line in sixth, then ended up being classified fifth. As the cars now line up on the grid, pulling into the slots, is Delino Van Toff is starting on pole position. As you see him there at the front in the red car with the black boxes and the white nose cone. It's his 10th pole position of the season. Philippe Jennings second on the grid, the front row, his best qualifying of the season by a long way in the yellow stripe and blue car. An unusual qualifying position for him, as we have someone stalled, I believe, on the formation lap. Or is that just a camera angle unusually? So as we see Guillermo Oliveira pull into his slot, so everyone is in. It was just an odd camera position, but we now see Van Toff. Van Toff slow away again. It's another stall, and also a stall for one of the Campos Racing drivers, and Jennings leads. Philippe Jennings leads from the start, and he is under pressure coming down into turn one from one of the other Campos drivers. And that is a stall for, I think that might be Ogaard. No, it isn't. It's Marty. Sorry, it's Marty. It's the other Campos Racing driver. Ogaard is in second place. So Jennings leads from Ogaard. Sanfari up to third. Arkanchelski is fourth. Rick Cohn currently fifth. Georg Kelstrup in sixth position. This is an unusual lineup at this side of time in the racing. You've said at the early round race weekend as we see someone flying off. And I do believe that's one of the other Campos entries, flying off the circuit and rejoining. So this is actually quite an interesting scenario. Now you've got Philippe Jennings, who's not really been near the front at all so far this season, and leading this race after a very good start. And it's been very sluggish starts for drivers who started on pole position, which actually has just been Van Toff. All through this weekend, Van Toff has dropped down to seventh. He was in a contretemps, I think, with George Kelstrup. Yes, he has got past George Kelstrup a couple of corners ago. Jennings leads half a second ahead of Ogaard. Ogaard really wants to turn this around after losing so many positions throughout race, the later on in race two. Zanfari sitting half a second behind in third place, as we are seeing Van Toff pushing past Rick Cohn. He is on an absolute charge. Coming back through the order, he lost several positions, dropped pretty much down to 7th, 8th position, but Rick Cohn and Kelstrup are not giving this up lightly as they go three wide into turn one. Van Toff not quite leading the way, and Rick Cohn holds the position, but a fantastic effort there. It's Garcia actually who's in 8th place at the moment, alongside Kelstrup trying for that position. And Pingasov is currently in 10th place. That's a good story for the rookie. This is his first ever weekend racing in Formula 4. Only turned 15 3 weeks ago, racing with the MP Motorsport squad. He's had some solid runs so far. He finished 13th in race 1. Had a more difficult time in race 2. Picked up some damage, had to go into the pits, but finished the race. Came home 20th. Every mileage is good mileage, as they say, and right now Pingasov is getting plenty of it. Meanwhile, up front, Jennings leads. Ogaard is in second place, and you've got Van Toff looking left, looking right, trying every which way to find a way past Rick Cohn, and I think he has, but he goes wide, and it gives Cohn an opportunity to try and feed back past, but Cohn is not going to get that opportunity. Meanwhile, Cohn has got to be looking after Garcia just behind, while Kelstrup also is hanging close in 8th place. Dengball 9th, Pingasov in 10th. Little bit of a gap between third and fourth place. Zanfari has built a small gap to Arkanchelski. Zanfari in a position where he never really dreamed of he would be in at this point. Zanfari's best result so far this season. As we see the start again, it was a very, very, very sluggish getaway, and one of the other MP Motorsport cars very slow away as well. And good attention from all the drivers there, avoiding the stalled Campos entry. But that's disappointing, of course, again, from Pepe Marti, who's had yet another. He stalled as well in race 2 earlier on this morning. He stalled on 3 other occasions so far this season. He really, really, really needs to work on his race starts. This is one of the Drive X entries. I think that's Brandon Lee Oxley attempting to move on Jorge Campos. And Abramczyk is further down the order. Abramczyk's gone off. He's lost positions down to 18th place, but that will not matter a single jot. As we see to the race leader, Philippe Jennings. Meanwhile, Arkanchelski, 4th place. He has got Vanthof right behind, Rick Cohen right behind them. Vanthof on an absolute charge. As I said earlier on, Vanthof won the race 2 today, having initially crossed the line second. Race 1 yesterday was quite a disappointing event. He started on pole, got a bad start, fell behind Ogard and Daniel Matzia in the early laps, but then damaged his front wing while challenging Matzia for 2nd place, and went into the pits, got a change of front wing, and ended up being classified 20th. By far his worst position of the season so far. Every other race he's either been 4th or higher, 6 of which have been race wins. As the Arkanchelski go miles off the circuit in an attempt to defend against Vanthof. Vanthof's not giving up lightly. You can see this drive. We've seen this many times so far this year. Whenever Vanthof's had to push, whenever he's had to be on a charge, he really does push. Even though he's got a very, very significant championship lead, it's a gap of 100 points over Sebastian Ogard. He doesn't give up. Meanwhile, up front, Philippe Jennings, fastest lap of the race so far, 1 minute 34.8. That will come down, I believe, as the race goes on, and that is important because there is a point for the fastest lap in every race in Spanish Formula 4. There's 21 points all going for those who can set the fastest lap. As you see, Vanthof, he's looking for any way possible to get past Arkanchelski just ahead. And he's taking slightly different lines, and he sees an opportunity now to go around the outside of Arkanchelski. The tight right-hander, but Arkanchelski's not giving up. He has an absolute wobble, and Vanthof gets a wobble too as he gets onto the green stuff, but I do believe he may have enough draft to take this position. He does. Fantastic move. Vanthof now up to 4th position. Vanthof has taken 4th position. He's got a 1.9 second gap to Zanfari just ahead. Meanwhile, in the pit lane, that is Noam Abramczyk. And we said a few moments ago he dropped down the order suddenly. I wonder if maybe he's gone off and possibly damaged something. And we have a spin on the track. There's been a collision on a start-finish straight and into the barriers. That is Garcia into the barriers. He's collided with someone on the start-finish straight. That is shocking. I cannot believe that won't be a safety car. Now, I do believe he may have gone into the back, possibly of Kelstrup. Well, there's a screech of tyres. Someone else has had a bit of an off somewhere. And he is in the car. He's taking the steering wheel out. He is getting out. He looks fine. Did someone hit him from behind? I can't quite... I think that might have been Kelstrup, but I couldn't quite see as they came under the gantry. And yeah, we have a spin. It's one of the Formula de Campaños cars now off the circuit. That is Matzia. That is Daniel Matzia. His horrible weekend compounded again. Had a retirement from that collision with Vanthof in race 1. Cross line first in race 2, but then got demoted to race 2. And now in race 3, he has gone off as well. So here is Matzia, and he's just got on the curbs, and it's just flicked him around. He's got one wheel on the gravel, one wheel on the curb. It's flicked him around the circuit. He's now in the gravel. He's lost the engine. He's out of the car. He's out of the race. His weekend is done. And I do believe that'll probably cost him 3rd in the championship standings by the time this race comes to a close. We have the yellow flag. It is a safety car, and this race will calm down for just a few moments, and this may take a few minutes because two different wrecks effectively to get rid of. And actually, I do believe getting rid of or removing Brandon Lee Oxley. Drop down the order momentarily. That's interesting. About to say, it's going to be difficult to get Matzia's car out of the gravel trap. It's embedded, but not close enough to the barrier. That's an easy fetch. But at the same time, you've got Garcia's car, which is beached halfway down the start-finish straight. That's not necessarily, and it's damaged as well, it must, because it has hit the barrier. That's not going to be an easy position to be reached. Brandon Lee Oxley's in the pits, which is why he fell down the order. He's still in the top 20. Such is the amount of action that we've had in these first few laps. Well, and we catch a breath. Philippe Jennings leads. Sebastian Ogard is in second place. Zuliman Sanfari is in third, as we do see Garcia's car being wheeled away. And this is difficult because he's taken a damage, quite a bit of damage on the front, and wonder maybe if the suspension's damage, and if it is, that'll be quite a bit of significant. It'll be difficult to get rid of him. We have had quite a few stalls or semi-stalls this weekend, and there's another at the back. I can't quite. And again, my apology. I'm not sure if that was Matsio or Bordas that may have gone into the back. Interesting, interesting, interesting. We will have a look at that later on. But they have got rid of Garcia's car. And they found an opening in the barrier. And I do wonder if those incidents are connected. And I did initially think it was Kelstrup just behind Garcia as they were coming down the start-finish straight. But it was a gaggle of cars. And I believe possibly the Formula Campaños car was there as well. That could just be a coincidence. Unfortunately, it is blocked partially by as they come past the gantry. Now, this is going to be a new experience for Philippe Jennings. This is going to be a new experience for Suleiman Zanfari. Both of whom they've had safety cars restarts before. There's absolutely no issue whatsoever there. What the issue is they've never been this high up the order when they've been facing down championship challengers. Philippe Jennings has second in the championship. Sebastian Ogar right on his rear. Suleiman Zanfari in third place. He's got Dalino Van Toff, the championship leader, right behind him. This could still become a fight between Ogard and Van Toff, but Zanfari and Jennings are going to make sure they have their say. As we see the car of Matsier put on the flatbed. And of course, not just a case of putting him on the flatbed, it's actually getting the flatbed then moving, getting the car safely secured on the flatbed, then getting the flatbed moving and out of danger. So we may still have another couple of laps of a safety car yet. There is 13 minutes left in this race. Plus one lap. We're pretty much coming up to the halfway point of this race. And just a further run down the order. Jenny leads. Ogard is in second place. Zanfari currently in third. Delano Van Toff is in fourth place. Now, we've spoken about the top four quite a lot in this race, and for obvious reason, but fifth place is Rick Cohn, who fended off Van Toff for quite a period, but there was no stopping the championship leader. George Kelstrup is currently in sixth place. Now, this is an interesting scenario. The F4 debutant this weekend for MP Motorsport, Miron Pinkasov, is currently running in seventh place. He actually had a very good start, was running up the top end, at the bottom end of the top 10, following some melee on the opening lap and a lot of stallers. Well, all the incidents that have happened in the time since have actually propelled him to 7th place. He's doing a very, very good job at the moment. We're going to get going very soon. The safety car, the lights are out, it's pulling away. I'll finish the top 10. Dengbal is 8th, Jorge Campos is 9th, Espirito Santos had a dreadful weekend so far, is 10th, and 11th, by the way, is Vladislav Ryabov. And the safety car is in the pit lane, and we are go again. The green flag waves. Jenik leads across the line, but he's got Sebastian Ogard right on his tail. Zanfari in 3rd place is trying to fend off Vanthof. Ogard goes through, takes the lead, and he is still wheel to wheel for 3rd and 4th. Bordas and Rick Cohn forgetting completely where the circuit is and going well off the track. But Vanthof is in 3rd place on the outside line while Bordas is fighting off Kelstrup. Rick Cohn here in 5th position. Ogard leads, Jenik 2nd, Vanthof 3rd, Zanfari 4th. Rick Cohn in 5th, Bornas in 6th. Kelstrup 7th, Pigasov has dropped down to 8th on that restart. Now it'll be interesting to see. We saw on race 1 yesterday, Ogard really pull away from the pack as everyone behind them fought hard for a position. He ended up winning race 1 by 10 seconds. He's going to be hoping to build a massive gap to Vanthof, while Vanthof challenges Jenik for 2nd place. It's not quite happening yet. He's not stretching his legs so completely, but you can tell Jenik is paying attention to his mirrors. He's watching Vanthof in 3rd place. He is tracking the driver in 2nd place. Zanfari still there in 4th. Cohn is 5th. Kelstrup 6th. And crossing the start-finish line to start yet another lap. Vanthof coming close to Jenik, but not close enough to make the move stick as they follow through into turn 1. Jenik's doing very, very well. And for those of you who are keeping an eye on timing and scoring, Bordas' transponder is not recording at the moment. He is on circuit there, as you can see him in the orange car with a black engine cover, but he is not appearing on the timing score, but you can see he clearly is there in the top 6. Ogard is a gap. He's not pulling away. He's managing the lead as it stands at the 2nd, but Jenik's doing a very, very good job. Both of them are setting similar times in the kind of mid to late 1 minute 34s. It's a bit of a slower run than yesterday's race. Vanthof still in 3rd place. He's not pushing terribly hard at this. I think he's just managing the gap. He's watching to see how Jenik drives. Remember, Jenik and Vanthof not really raced each other in Formula 4 this year. They've generally tended to be on the opposite ends of the field. And he's currently up against a driver he doesn't really have much experience about. Right now, Zanfari still holding on to 4th place. You've got Rick Cohn there. Eric Bordas is there at 2. Meanwhile, Ogard is definitely controlling this pace. Not long left now. Just 7.5 minutes left to go, plus 1 lap. It's Ogard from Jenik, from Vanthof, from Zanfari, from Cohn. Bordas there as well. Pingasov is 7th. Espirito Santo is 8th. Kelstrup is 9th. Ryabov is 10th. They really are still close. The safety car period has really kept them very much together. And Ogard to Jenik, the gap's only half a second. It's still very, very, very close. And as we get to the end of this race, it'll be interesting to see if those on slightly aged tyres, if they can hold on to their cars as we get close to this checkered flag. But Van't Hoff is closing very much on Jenik, and we're also seeing that is Pingasov. He's fighting off Espirito Santo coming down to start-finish straight. That's for 7th and 8th positions. Espirito Santo has pulled out. Can't quite see whether he's completed the move. But out front, it's still Ågaard, it's still Jenik, it's still Van't Hoff, only 8/10 of a second covering the 3. I can tell you Espirito Santo has completed the move over Pingasov. That's over 7th and 8th positions. The timings, you see Bordas is on screen there. He is actually 6th place in this race. He's not showing on the timing screens, but he is 6th place in this race. Van't Hoff at the moment, he still seems very relaxed. He's not, as mentioned earlier on, he's not pushing Jenik for 2nd place. He's not pressing him so hard. It looks like Jenik's going to make a mistake. Jenik, for his efforts, is doing a very, very good job so far. He's not been anywhere near this kind of position so far this season. Up until now, his best finish, he's had 2 7th places, one at Navarra and one at Algarve. Zanfari now under pressure from Rick Cohn. They have Bordas just behind. And Zanfari too, another driver who's never had these kind of heights so far this season, which is actually quite a mistake because he finished 4th in race 1 after several penalties were handed out. But he is 4th on merit this time around. But Rick Cohen is going to try to demote him down to 5th, and 6th is nose in. But Zanfari keeps on the outside and maintains the position. Feisty driving there from Zanfari, but very, very well done. Very aggressive, but not over the line. Rick Cohen's got to find another way through. This is all playing very much into Bordas's hands as well, as he resides right there. And then in the 4th in line is Espirito Santo, who's actually 7th in this race, and Pingasov, who is 8th. He's still hanging on to that pack. Very, very good drive by that racer who's only on his 1st ever weekend in Formula 4. Ågaard, Jenik, Van't Hoff right there, and we do see Cohn trying for Zanfari again on the inside of the left-hander. Not quite making it done, but he's showing himself to Zanfari, putting the racer under pressure. And Cohn, the Dutch driver, putting as much pressure as he can on the Moroccan driver who is in his 2nd season in in Formula 4. But you got Bordas trying to get around the outside as well. Is he going to take advantage of Cohn? Oh no, they've hit! That is, Cohn has gone into the back of Zanfari. Not entirely sure or convinced there's much damage. If there is, it probably will be on the front wing of Cohn. But Bordas is going side by side with Cohn down the start-finish straight. Zanfari just ahead. Zanfari cuts across to kind of get ahead, just ahead of Cohn. Cohn goes down the middle. Can he make the move work? He may not through there. Zanfari holds the middle of the circuit. Cohn slots in as well. Zanfari going a million miles up the circuit, but Bordas is looking to try and take Rick Cohn. Goes around the outside of turn 2, is not quite going to work. It's Pingasov there trying to hold Espirito Santo, or get back past Espirito Santo. And it's still Zanfari, still Cohn, still Bordas. And you have Espirito Santo, got Pingasov, it's all trying for moves. Ryabov right in the back there, 9th place. And I do believe that is Pingasov has got wheel on the dirt. He slops behind Ryabov. Zanfari now once again has Cohn right on his tail as they come through the little kink. It's a slight little left-hander going into a tighter kind of long left-hand bend. Cohn still on the outside, miles up the circuit again, goes rally crossing really, and he loses the position. He loses to Bordas. I do believe he's lost the position as well to Espirito Santo, and Cohn loses 3 positions in that phase there, but he maybe tried to hold on. Oh, and there's another crash! 2 drivers, and I do believe that was Pingasov and maybe Espirito Santo have gone off into the barriers. And that is retirement for both of them, slid straight off. That's Ryabov, my mistake, it is Ryabov and Pingasov who've gone into the barriers amidst the dust. Ågaard continues to lead from Jenik from Van't Hoff. Zanfari is still somehow in 4th position. Well, thrilling. Bordas, 5th place. Espirito Santo there in 6th. Rick Cohn is dropped down to 7th. Kelstrup is 8th. Campos 9th. And I do believe we may have a yellow flag. It's difficult to tell from that angle, but I wonder if maybe because Pinkasov did go off a couple of corners previously and Ryabov got past, and I wonder if that was an attempt for Pinkasov to try and retake that position. They've gone off into the barriers. Well, the race is still going on, by the way, so there's no safety car. I think both drivers are out of the cars. So they're going to leave the cars there until the end of this race, and it's only a minute plus 1 lap, so we may have 2 to 3 laps left of this race. We're very close to the end. Ogard continues to lead. Jenik is there as well. Van Toff in 3rd place. Zanfari 4th. Then Bordas. Then Espirito Santo. Rick Cohn. This is still a quite thrilling battle for 4th position in this race, and Zanfari is doing a very, very, very good job at keeping some of his more well-respected rivals at bay. But Bordas is under pressure now, as we see Jenik under pressure from Van Toff. This is for 2nd place. Van Toff got a draft, and he's going to try go around the outside for 2nd position. Jenik goes a little bit wide and well off the circuit. Van Toff is going to keep his foot in it. He will have the inside line going into turn 2, and he keeps the inside line, and he takes the position from Jenik, and he moves up into 2nd place. Ogard leads now for Van Toff on the penultimate lap of this race. The gap to the race leader is just under 1 second. That might be a little bit too late. Fantastic drive still by Jenik. Holding 3rd place. That's a word from Zanfari, and the gap to Zanfari is over 2.5 seconds. It's unlikely that Jenik will lose that in the next lap and a half, unless there are penalties still to be handed out. I haven't seen anything that Jenik could be considered a penalty. Ogard continues to lead. Van Toff is 2nd place. Jenik just behind in 3rd. Zanfari holding on to 4th position. Espirito Santo just behind, then Bordas in 6th position. Rick Cohn 7th, Kelstrup 8th, Marty 9th, Campos, the last points position man, in 10th place. And credit too to both Campos and Rick Cohn, who really made waves in this race. Oliveira actually started from last position after all of his times in qualifying were deleted. He's currently running 11th, or sorry, running 12th, I should say. Note, just a reminder, the timing and scoring, for whatever reason, maybe an incorrect transponder. Bordas is not appearing on screen. He is actually in 6th position. And so, we're on the final lap of this race. What has been a somewhat chaotic race, it must be said. Several stalls at the start, several sluggish getaways. Once again, a poor start from pole position by Van Toff. Initially dropped a few positions down the order, but he's made his way through. He's forced the issue when he's needed, but he has actually drawn right up to the rear of Ogard. I think it's probably far too late for him to make a move for the race win. But Ogard does definitely seem to be struggling, definitely seems to have lost a lot of pace. Van Toff's right there. But surely Ogard will hold on for the next few corners. The gap is 0.3 of a second. Van Toff's close, but does he have enough to make a move to force an issue? He doesn't. It's too late. They exit the final corner, coming now into the start-finish straight. The checkered flag waves. Sebastian Ogard takes the race win, his 2nd of the weekend. Van Toff 2nd. Jenik 3rd, his 1st podium of the season. Zanfari in 4th position. And an incredible race with an awful lot of action, an awful lot of chaos throughout this event. There'll be 3 delighted men, young men on the podium. Sebastian Ogier, delighted to get his 4th win of the season. Van't be delighted to come home 2nd after another bad start, and Philippe Jennings will be delighted to get his first podium in Spanish Formula 4. And marshals and track workers coming out to applaud the drivers. Those who have finished absolutely deserve it. It has been a rather chaotic event. Several incidents. We had Garcia crashing on the start-finish straight. Matsias spun off into the gravel. That was a safety car. We then had an incident between Ryabov and Pingasov later in the race, with both of those cars crashing out. But all the attention, all the focus is going to be on this driver, Sebastian Ogier, who's, as I said, taking his 4th win of the season and really now extending the gap for 2nd in the championship from Daniel Matzia and Pepe Marti. It was close, very close between the 3 of them this weekend coming into this round, but Ogier has had 2 wins and a 5th. And Matzia and Marti have not scored anywhere near the kind of number of points Ogier has registered. Hopefully we won't have too many post-race penalties to confuse the classification. But we will see the leading drivers now. The top 3 drivers pull into their 1st, 2nd and 3rd position slots at the end of the pit lane. This is Jennings pulling in. Absolutely delighted for the young man. The Theo Martin Motorsport entry. And we see Ogier pulling into the race winner slot and Van't alongside. And he steps onto the nose of his car, arms out wide, celebrating with his mechanics and colleagues from Campos Motorsport. It's the 2nd time this season he's come out of a race weekend with 2 wins. He did very, very well. Actually, similar results at Algarve, with 2 wins and a 6th there. It's 2 wins and a 4th here. And that really, I think a lot of people down there catching their breath after what really has been a very, very, very topsy-turvy race. And that is Ryabov, disappointed to have not finished what looks like a coming together with the Formula 4 rookie Pingasov. Pingasov's going to be disappointed as well, because in his first ever weekend of car racing, he was on his way to a top 8 finish. And of course, now will come away with just a retirement. And the plaudits being handed out to top 3 drivers. The drivers themselves, Jenny congratulating Ogier. And I do hope to hear from Philippe Jennings, get his thoughts on what has been a very, very good race for him. And so the classification following the conclusion of race 3. Sebastian Ogier takes the win ahead of Deljano Van't. Philippe Jennings takes 3rd, his first podium of the season, ahead of Rick Cohn. Zulaiman Sanfari 5th, Pepe Marti 6th, George Kelstrup 7th, Jorge Campos 8th, Espirito Santo down into 9th, Gil Molina 10th. Now Bordas, I do believe, should be in that order, as this transponder may not have been working, and I do believe he would have come home 6th in between Zanfari and Marti. We'll wait for confirmation on that. Fastest lap, by the way, Pepe Marti, a 1:34.0. He'll get a point for that. Alexander Partashev classified initially 11th, ahead of Dengbal, Brandon Lee Oxley in 13th, Oliver Mitchell 14th, and Guillermo Oliveira, Lola Lovenfoss coming home 16th. And as you see at the bottom of the screen, Enric Bordas not classified. He did come to the end of the race. He was just not on the timing and scoring screens. And see Ryabov's car being winched away. As we ready ourselves now for the podium celebrations. And this is bringing us ever closer now to the conclusion of the 2021 Spanish Formula 4 Championship. And I mentioned really that Vanthoff's probably not going to be that disappointed. And I am seeing a correction on the timing and scoring screen, and it looks like they have credited Enric Bordas with 4th place. Ricón 5th, Zanfari 6th, Jose Marti 7th, George Kelstrup 8th, Jorge Campos 9th, Espirito Santo 10th. And we again look towards the damaged GRS car of Vladislav Ryabov, the no front wing, and it looks like a deranged right front. So what has been a very, very, very good weekend weather-wise. We've had nice sunny weather throughout. Perfect conditions for some Formula 4 racing this weekend. And hopefully we will have more of the same at the coming 2 rounds in Jerez. That is on the 2nd to 3rd of October. And then the finale from the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, in mid-November. But first, let's hear from Sebastian Ogard, race winner.
Well, going into the race, I knew it was going to be really tough. I think I was one of the only ones on old tires in the top 10, starting P3, and I had a good start, and yeah, won the race.
Congratulations and enjoy the weekend and the victory.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry, eh?
And a very happy Sebastian Ogard there, clearly. Happy for him. And that's Macia's car, Daniel Macia's car, who's been taken away. He went off on the gravel earlier on in this race. Disappointing weekend for Macia. Again, he's had 2 retirements and initially crossed the line to win race 2, but was demoted for track limits. He ended up finishing 2nd. Pepe Marti's also had a difficult weekend. He's had not the most positive of results, it's fair to say. He's 7th today in race 3. And other than that, had a podium in race 1, but was a non-scorer in race 2. And all of it really has allowed Sebastian Ogard to pull away very much in this fight for 2nd in the standings. I do believe he may now have almost a 30 or 40 point advantage over Macia in second place, but he's still a long way behind Vanthoff. I believe the gap between Vanthoff, the championship leader, and Ogard in 2nd place is now 93 points. Although it's still not quite close to Vanthoff solidifying the championship, it is still quite significant. So the gap, as I said, the gap between Vanthoff and Ogard is 93 points. There's 144 available from the final 2 rounds of this season. So we could well see the championship wrapped up in Jerez in a couple of weeks' time. That will be on Vanthoff's mind. But for now, it's all about the podium, it's all about the plaudits, it's all about the trophies, it's all about the celebration. As we see, Jennings in the blue and white and yellow overalls in 3rd place, Vanthoff in the yellow and black overalls. And the race winner, center stage in the white overalls with the black strips, Sebastian Ogard. And we hear now the Danish national anthem.
momento de levantar los trofeos. Para esta fotografía en lo alto del podio con
Delight.
Milano, Sebastián y Álvaro.
Well, the 3-0. And of course the Campos Racing representative on the podiums, they collect their trophies. It's been a good weekend for Campos. They've come away with 2 race wins, one of which was a 1-2 finish. And that's given them quite a bolster in the teams championship. They're very much in second place. They're probably not going to catch MP Motorsport at this stage, but they'll pull very much away from Formula de Campinos, who sit third in the teams championship. And for confirmation, Sebastian Ogaard winning race 3 today, ahead of Delano Van Toff. Philippe Jennings completed the podium. Enric Bordas is classified currently in 4th place, ahead of Rick Cohn, Zuleman Zanfari, Pepe Marti 7th place, George Kelstrup 8th, Jorge Campos 9th, and Manuel Espirito Santo taking 10th place in the final points finish. Gilles Molino, 11th place ahead of Partashev 12th, Noah Dengball 13th, Brandon Lee Oxley 14th, Oliver Mitchell 15th, Guillermo Oliveira 16th, and 17th was Lola Lovenfoss, 18th Anshul Gandhi. He'll be happy to have completed his first race weekend in Formula 4 as Delano Van Toff takes the rookie trophy. Ryabov was classified in 19th, although did not finish, going out with Pinkasov late in the race. And it was a sluggish start for the Campos Racing entry, and a lead for Philippe Jennings earlier on, ahead of Ogaard, with Van Toff dropping down, ahead of Zanfari, should I say, with Van Toff dropping down the order. We had a couple of incidents early in the race as Van Toff was making his way through the field. We could see him go past Akachelski. And then it was a collision on the start-finish straight, with Garcia being hit from behind and spun around into the barrier. Later that lap, Daniel Matzia went onto the gravel and the curb, and that spun him around into retirement. It was a safety car came out, and when it left the track, Ogaard slotted through to take the lead from Philippe Jennings, while Van Toff had got past Zanfari to take 3rd place. There was a battle still later on with Rick Cohen, Enric Bordas and Zanfari, with Rick Cohen eventually losing out. And then it was a collision between Ryabov and Pinkasov, which took them out of the race. Van Toff took Jennings for 3rd, but Van Toff caught up with Ogaard to pressurise and try to take the race win, but he could not make it work. Ogaard took his 2nd win of the weekend, his 4th of the season, ahead of Van Toff. And now he celebrates ahead of round 6, which takes place in Jerez in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you very much for watching Spanish Formula 4 this weekend. My name's been Leo Corman. We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your help this weekend, guys. Very much appreciated.